Hey folks, welcome. I just want to say thanks for joining me here. My name is Stuart and I am here to tell my story. It's been 20 years of guitar experience. So I've been playing for 20 years. Okay, so this is my story and I am ready to tell it. We're going to go right back to the beginning where it all began. I'm going to break down a little bit of the history of where I started as a musician way back when I started learning. So I hope you enjoy my story. I'm here to tell you exactly where and how things began way back in 2005. Okay, 2005. And I'm looking forward to this. I wasn't really sure exactly what way to do this and to break things down, but I feel that it is time now. We're in the year 2025, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about the website that I recently launched as well. And I'm going to show you some bits as well about that website. So I have a whole website with an overview of information that's like a history overview of my experience as a musician for the past 20 years. And I'll also have a link for that down in the description below of this particular video. So I'm really excited to be sharing some updates. Another thing is that I have a single coming out in September. There's no specific date yet for the single. The single is called What Can I Say? It's a song I wrote 10 years ago, way back in around 2015-ish, and it was recorded professionally in 2017. Now, I have had these particular demo recordings stashed away on a hard drive for years. I've spoken about this already, that I just kind of left them and didn't do anything with them. I never released them. And then, of course, with the release of Finding Hope with my band, the EP that was recently released just a year ago, I had been busy with that and working hard on that. So the track What Can I Say was actually released and re-recorded as a solo track on the 6-track EP Finding Hope. But that is a longer version of the song, which had an extra verse that was added and into the song, and the song was re-recorded in the studio. Now the demo version is a much shorter version. The original single version, I should say, which is coming out in September. A release date is yet to be confirmed, but I just want to build a bit of hype surrounding the release of the song, or get people hyped before the release of the song, before I can announce a release date. But that's it's coming in September, and I'm really looking forward to it. There'll be a remix track of it coming out too, and hopefully eventually we'll see about an album, hopefully. But another thing is that the main part of this video is that I want to share my 20-year overview. I want you to check out the new website. For any of you who haven't seen it, it was launched a couple of months ago. So I just want to spread the word about that website. It's an overview of my history as a musician. So I'm going to go back to the beginning and talk a little bit about what's in the website, but I'm going to kind of give it to you now in my own words. So I started out way back in 2005. I didn't really have any idea of where I was going musically. I didn't always know that I wanted to be a musician until, my parents kind of advised me on what I should do. And then it turned out that I started learning the guitar, and then I picked up some chords along the way, and then I learned how to do this lead stuff, and then my jazz teacher taught me how to do stuff playing lead guitar. And then I later got into a band. That band is Saint Facade. I was part of another band before that, but it didn't really take off. It was just kind of a band that I got going with some people, and then it just didn't really go anywhere. And then later came Saint Facade, which we know of today, and we have an EP out now, and it's pretty cool. I'll say it's been a crazy journey between the history of the band and my overall history of being a musician for the past 20 years. I can't believe it's been that long. I remember being inspired by, bands like Guns N' Roses, Slash. I had a huge inspiration for Slash. I had magazines and stuff. I remember just really, really digging this stuff and, learning about other groups like Dire Straits and, a lot of the stuff that was going on in the 70s and the 80s as well, and particularly the grunge era in the 90s, and, just expanding on my musical tastes, and I remember being a big fan of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I remember buying the CDs and everything when CDs were really popular. And, I suppose transitioning from electric to acoustic, I started out, like a lot of these people wanting to be a rock star, wanting to be, playing lead and stuff and, shredding and all this stuff. And I had many different styles of music that came and went, stuff that I was influenced by and interested in for years, and then stuff that I lost interest in. I remember even having an interest in like rap sort of music and pop music and stuff like that. And then, even like stuff like country. I like country as well. I have a very wide interest in music. I love a lot of different types of music. I have a high respect for the music industry and the artists that we have in the music industry today, even the modern artists. I'm very nostalgic though for the older stuff, and that's why a lot of the music that I create comes from my influence of the older generation of music, and that will always come from my heart into the music that I create myself. When it comes to songwriting and when it comes to, even covering stuff with the band or whatever. But it's been a wild journey to say the least. I remember just learning stuff off my teacher way back in the day, just I'm really looking forward as well to sharing some of my playing skills with you in an update soon. I'll be going through some of the tabs and stuff that I learnt, and just take out the electric and start jamming and stuff, and kind of get a bit of a nostalgia trip going, and take us back a little bit, and I can share with you some of the stuff that I learned way back in the beginning. And I'm really looking forward to that. So I remember just learning, wanting to learn the tabs for it might be a Red Hot Chili Peppers song, as I was saying, or it might be a song by some other blues artist or something like that, or Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water is another one, that a song that was very, very popular. And I remember just wanting to know how to play these songs, really, really close to the original songs. And it really takes me back when I think of it like that, because I suppose my view in music has changed so much. When I started doing the acoustic cover music videos and stuff, that was a whole other, generation, a whole other, how should I put it, a whole other era of content that I was moving towards. I was moving towards a new era in wanting to create. And even the music video stuff that I've done as well, and being influenced by different types of artists that I was influenced, say 10 years ago or even more. And I learned my playing skills came from a jazzy kind of I learned how to play with a bluesy jazz type of style. So when I do tablature, I play play lead, and I play scales and stuff. I learned a lot of that from hearing, picking up a jazzy type of a sound. and that's where a lot of that came from. Um, and I do love picking up the electric from time to time. It's not what I've spent a lot of time over the years with the acoustic guitar, but I'm really looking forward to exploring the electric a lot more in the coming, months and years. Um, Same with the keyboard as well, with piano keyboards and synthesizers and stuff like that. I have two keyboards which I have talked about, and you've seen me make videos and stuff on. I have a Casio from the 80s, late 80s, and I have a Yamaha too, which I've been using in a lot of my recordings and stuff as well, even the homemade stuff. Um, and I picked that up since 2022. I only started getting into keyboards in 2022, and I love it. It's another really big area of music, or a creative instrument that I'm really excited to be exploring. Um, and But yeah, I suppose in the early years it was all about learning. Um, learning how to play scales. I learned how to play so many different chords. Um, but things have evolved so much from like 2005, 2006, 7. Um, I remember getting my first effects pedal when I was like 15. I'll be showing that as well. I'll be showing you that in another video. Um, and I just remember, learning a lot of rocky stuff in the earlier days, and then later wanting to do more acoustic, more mellow sort of music, and um, I suppose that's how things changed, and then I suppose by the time 2009 came along, it was time to kind of, that was the year when I kind of came out of my shell and I got to perform live and stuff. I did my first live performance in 2009, for in front of an audience, live setting. And that was daunting at the time. It was pretty scary. I never thought I'd break into anything like that. I never thought I had the confidence to really kind of bring myself to that level to even be able to perform, even though people might look at someone like me and think, oh, he has it easy, but it's never easy. And all performers and artists have some sense of nerves. It always happens. Nerves are actually a good thing. They're an emotion. So, you know, but not to keep dragging on about this, you know, just going to take a bit of my coffee there. Ah, that is a killer cup. Yeah, I mean, as far as the band goes, we've got merchandise and stuff now. So, Saint Facade, there's a lot happening as far as the group, but not to confuse that with the solo stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, just thinking of it overall, it's just been a phenomenal journey, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to sharing, getting the guitar out and just sharing some stuff as well, regarding what I've learned over the years. Um, but I urge you to check out the website. I urge you to go check out the overview website that I put together. Um, some really, it's really interesting. I'd be very grateful for you to check out my story, um, and spread the word about it, and just spread the word about my social media, um, and all of the other stuff that I have out there, and a single coming in September. What can I say? So, yeah, I suppose another thing I'll mention is that I've only been writing music for the past 10 years. I haven't been, writing since the very, very beginning. The first couple of years, I'd say 4 to 5 years, was all my learning curve. I was learning what direction I was going to become, what direction I was taking my musical skills in. And then obviously things evolved and, changed over time. And then I didn't know at the very start, when I first wanted to learn guitar, that I wanted to become a singer. I thought at the very beginning I was just going to be a guitar player, but then later followed singing. I figured I wanted to be a singer then, and it just sort of happened. And then I did a talent show, and I happened to win the talent show, and then I followed up later then in 2010 with To the Moon and Back, which seems to be it's the oldest live performance that I have on file, and it's tends to be the one that seems to draw attention to people even to this day. It's 15 years ago now, and those were some proud moments. I'll say that they were some proud moments. The song To the Moon and Back by Savage Garden originally, covering that in 2010 with the live performance. It was an incredible experience. Still one of the greatest moments that I can remember from the early days of performing live, until I got into more band kind of stuff, but I did other things as well, like I was also involved in the CU Factor, which stands for Credit Union. I did that in 2012, and Voice of Ireland as well. I did that at one stage too. So I wasn't on television. I wasn't. I just did some auditions for it, but I didn't make it to the television stages. I just did the first couple of auditions, but sadly I didn't get called back for that. It was unfortunate, but this is how it goes. But never give up. I say never give up. Always keep your heart strong and keep fighting for I suppose keep heading for your keep the faith, and that's probably the best thing I could say. But yeah, other than that, I've got plenty of updates to share. Go check out the website, the new website that I put together. Single What Can I Say will be coming out in September. So spread the word about that to your friends, to anyone you know. And drop a comment, drop a like down below here. Love to have your support. I love all of you. Thanks for tuning in to this video, whatever you want to call it. Really grateful for anyone who's watching, and I'm really looking forward to sharing some of my playing skills and more history about 20 years of being a musician. From the early days of learning and playing guitar right up to my singing years and live performances and all of the different stuff that I've done over the years, right up to the covers, and the songwriting stuff, and where we are today. So it's been an incredible journey, and I'm really happy that I'm really happy to be making this. I'm really happy to be here talking about this. It's been an incredible journey.